Joining us now, our second guest of the day in studio is BYU basketball coaching extraordinaire, Tim LaComb. Looking fly, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's hard to follow Anson, and he's become quite the broadcaster.
Yeah, he's doing good stuff.
Doing good stuff. He was there for he did our radio for San Francisco, and I told him, man, you can come anytime. You play like that.
We do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's talk about superstitions. I joked with Terry Nashif on Friday that, look, I was wearing my shooting shirt on Thursday, go nuts against San Francisco. Then I purposely wore it again on Saturday underneath my shirt and tie, and you put up that. And he said, get it washed. We need it twice this week. Do you have superstitions like that?
Oh, yeah. I think everybody does. I try not to, and I've tried to avoid them, but I think it's impossible. You know, you do this, and the repetition of what you do every week, you know, is so familiar that, like, for me, there's several things that I have to do, and some of them are just straight weird, but, you know.
Give us an idea of what one of those is.
You know, one of the things I do is I keep my hotel key in my pocket. This actually started at Gonzaga when we beat them. And
Last year?
This year at home. I'm sorry, at their place. I had it in my pocket, and I realized I had it, and so I threw it away in the building there in the kennel. And so now every road game, I purposely take my hotel key, and I have to throw it away somewhere in the building, you know, so just something weird like that.
I love it. Terry wears ankle socks with dress shoes, so,
yeah.
I mean, everyone's got
yeah,
these.
He's that guy.
Yeah, he had those things ready to rip this week, and, you know, I don't even know if he washed them for the Saturday game, which is a little scary, but
nobody will question
Nobody will
that.
have a question because it worked really well.
Should Spencer wash his shooting shirt then? No?
I think that's personal choice. You know, I think that's part of the superstition. Whatever you think's
For me,
best.
it was just wearing it.
Yeah,
So it doesn't matter about wash.
That's right.
You just wear
have
it.
it
Smells
on.
important. It really is.
that's right.
Yeah.
I like you had it on under your. You did the broadcast,
under his
right?
Yes.
suit.
It was awesome. I loved it.
That's
Great.
awesome.
You're a team guy.
You
Yeah.
find a way, man.
You're a team guy.
And so were those two games. Those were awesome. What made you guys so efficient in those two games last week?
Man, I don't know if you could bottle it up and you know, have that recipe every night. I think really the focus of our guys was great this week. Starting in practice Monday, we obviously were so disappointed with the outcome of the game against Pacific on Saturday. I think one of the hardest things in coaching, there's two things really: managing success and, you know, not getting too high on yourselves, and then managing disappointment. And we were certainly going through a disappointing time. But as Coach Rose always does, he's amazing at getting our guys ready to play. And so our practices Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were terrific. Our game plans were great. And then to our guys' credit, they came out and we really challenged them to get right from the start, to get going and to fly around and to move the ball and to play at a great pace and to be really intense on defense. And they did that, and the result was really good. When that ball's moving around and our guys are feeling it, you know, it's a pretty fun brand of basketball to play and watch.
BYU has never lost on that specific road swing in WCC play. Up on the hilltop against San Francisco, and then at the Levy Center against Santa Clara. 10-0 over the last 5 years. Is it the gyms? I mean, what is it about that trip?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because those teams, they've had good teams too. You know, some of those San Francisco teams that we went in there and beat with, you know, Dickerson and Tollefson and, you know, Adams shooting threes. And every time we go in there, it seems like they're a little bit more amped up to play us as well. But our guys have responded in the last 2 years. Our road trip last year was very similar to this year. It was around New Year's, and we went in and just right from the start took control of those games. Just really, it was. I think our guys feel really comfortable there for whatever reason. But I think it all kind of starts and ends with the way that Coach approaches things. He's absolutely so good with our guys, and in the locker room, you know, on the buses, he keeps them focused and ready to go. And our guys were certainly that.
All the guys seemed to be clicking, but Nick Emery had his best performances, I think, as a Cougar. What did you see differently from Nick?
You know, Nick, I think that Terry spent some time with Nick this last week. If you watch, you know, the Pacific game and the St. Mary's game, the game, you know, for freshmen, it's different. It's such a different thing. And then when you have a freshman who's then gone on a mission for 2 years and then is thrown right into the fray of Division I basketball, it gets really tough. And I think that Nick's, the thing that Terry kind of noticed, he kind of handles all our offense, but Terry noticed that the game was moving really, really fast for Nick. And So I think Terry met with Nick and asked him and kind of challenged him just to slow everything down a little bit. Still play hard, still play, as hard as you can, but just take like even just a breath, just slow things down just a touch. And I think that's the thing that I noticed more than anything. His pace was still really good, but he wasn't in a hurry. And I think that little advice that Terry gave him and then Nick took to heart was really great.
How many freshmen can come off of a 4 for 25 from three-point distance shooting slump and do that? That for me is like, whoa, it's super impressive that he was able to do that in a slump.
Right. Yeah, I think Nick, of all the guys after the Pacific game, Nick probably took that game the hardest because he didn't make a three. He had some looks that really would have helped us during the game. And on Monday, he was pretty disappointed and pretty down. I think the resolve of this team, and I think the character, the thing we talk about all the time is we try to recruit kids with great character. And I'm so impressed year to year with that alone. And, I know that everybody believes that we should win every game we play, and that's what our goal is. But just like in life, there's going to be disappointment. There's going to be adversity. And it's how do you handle it? And I think that Nick really kind of stood up to the plate and came and kind of asked for some advice, He met with the coaches. He met with Terry. He felt really disappointed, and then his resolve was to, all right, I'm going to take this advice and get better. I think everybody sees what we saw when we recruited Nick, and he's had a fantastic year, with or without this weekend. But this weekend, I leaned over to Quincy a couple times. I had the opportunity to recruit Nick along with the rest of our coaches, and Quincy was his head coach. So we spent a lot of time in the Lone Peak gym and talking to Quincy on the phone. But that's probably as close to the Lone Peak Nick Emery, that he was that night in and night out. And that's what's exciting is he, it took some time, but he's made some adjustments, and we've all believed in him. He certainly, our guys, we don't tell him not to shoot and not to play hard, and but Nick he's adopted it, and it was fun to see the result, of a lot of hard work, and then just being determined to try to fix the problem.
Yeah, sky's the limit for him. A lot of people excited about his career. Then you have last week, Chase Fisher has this shoulder stinger on Tuesday. We don't know what's going to happen Thursday. Then he scores 22 in each game. How did he do that with a bum shoulder?
Chase will probably go down as one of my favorite guys because I think he epitomizes being in the moment. He's always talking to our guys about being positive through everything and having a positive vibe. And when it was actually a closeout drill in practice, and Kyle was closing out to him, and it was the last closeout of the little segment. And he dribbled it, and he and Kyle hit each other. And Kyle would say that it's because he spends more time in the weight room than Chase. And Chase would have something to say about that. I think it's actually because Kyle drinks more kale. Kale's a really important part of it. But he instantly, his shoulder, it was instant. It popped out or whatever, and he left, and everybody in practice was like, oh, no, what's going to happen? But the very next day he came in. He obviously got a ton of treatment, and he came up to me, and he's like, hey, don't worry, I'm not missing any games. And so he went out and played so great against San Francisco, and then, probably one of the more efficient. What do you have? 22 points on 9 shots, I believe, against Santa Clara.
Making a ton of free throws.
Making great decisions. He had 6 assists. He went and got
5 rebounds.
5 rebounds. He went and got tough rebounds. He had big-time defensive efforts. It's just Chase is made right. Again, it's character kid who's a team guy, wants our team to be as successful as possible, knows we're in a tough situation, and as a team leader did what he had to do to make us successul.
What is the dynamic of playing San Diego in back-to-back games in this conference slate? Like, how are you approaching that?
It's a little weird. I don't think any of us, we've talked about as coaches, I don't think any of us have been through it. So I think what we do is we prepare as normal for this first one. We've got the same 3 days to prepare. We go down there and travel just like we always do. I like that we have them on the front end at their place because I think that gives us a little bit of an edge. And go down there and play with a game plan. And then I think it's the interesting thing, the dynamic is you have the film It's almost like an NBA series where you take things that worked and things that didn't, and you tweak them and adjust them, and you come back and play them again the next day. So it's different, it's unique, but I think it's a neat opportunity and something that we can all learn from, and I'm excited about the week.
How's Zach Sellius's shoulder doing?
Zach's shoulder's better. He's feeling better. Those 2 games were really physical for Zach, because we're starting to play a little smaller, so he's actually guarding the 4 a little bit more. And so there's a lot more for him. There's a lot more physical contact, just guarding in the post and blocking guys out. And after San Francisco, they're a physical team. He looked tired, but he did a great job, just flowing through it. And, Zach's a great kid. Again, a kid who is used to winning, won state championships in high school, comes from a great family, was raised right, got great character. So he'll be fine. His shoulder's good. I think he's feeling better, and he's still shooting over 50% from the 3.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I can't even do that, by myself in the gym alone. So
At hot shots.
at hot shot. Yeah, I can't do it. The nickel Cade, exactly. So what he's doing as a freshman is terrific.
We'll wrap with this, Coach. I know you preach, and you and the coaching staff preach, hey, next game is the most important game. Given where BYU is right now and chasing down the NCAA tournament and the at-large, is it advantageous to be in a situation where it's like, hey, we probably need to win every game to get in as an at-large?
Well, that's the unique thing is, from the very beginning of the season, our goals are we talk about them all the time, is to win the league championship and to get to the NCAA tournament. So none of this stuff is a surprise. I think that we certainly are handed different cards throughout each season. But our belief in every game we go into is we need to win this game. So while everybody from the outside is kind of looking at the big picture, we simply cut it up into the next game. We don't look beyond that. And I think if we maintain that focus, like we did this last weekend, our guys were so focused, so ready, so prepared, and then came out from the very beginning and just, we were ready to go. And that's what we have to continue to do. We have to continue to focus on the task at hand, win that game. I think you can see through the parity of the league. I think St. Mary's lost this week at home to Pepperdine. There's a lot of things that happen. So we just have to put ourselves in the best position we can, getting down to the WCC tournament, and then whatever matchup we have there, take that one game at a time as well. We all know the destination we want. We want the tourney. I'm not going to put it on. Superstition. Then I'd look pretty silly. But we want to get to the tourney. That's our program goal every year. Coach has obviously done an unbelievable job, almost to the point where it's an expectation. We roll out of bed, win 25 games, and go to the tournament. And I think that what everybody needs to understand is it doesn't just happen at places. I think if you pull up ESPN and look at the standings across the country and the teams that have won 19, 20 games. There aren't a ton of them. So we just maintain the focus, win the next one, put ourselves in the best position, and hopefully we end up where we want to be.
I'll have my lucky shooting shirt ready to go on Thursday. You make sure you get the hotel card. You can dispose of that at the Slim
Jim. And we
Jim.
give the karma right now.
And we give the BYU Sports Nation karma now to Tim LaComb.
Yeah, I need that karma, man. I haven't been in here for a while, so this is good.